Journey or the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Journey. I'm not a
How
fan of the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
you know what? That was a wrong choice. How about this? Journey or Queen?
Oh, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always going to be people like, I don't believe in this. What is this nonsense? Like,
Mhm.
if when you have a client who maybe never done this before, or maybe
Right.
somebody listening right now who never even heard of this, or they might heard of it but think they don't know how to process it. How do
Right.
you kind of tell people and show people, or even express to people that this can actually help? Because for me, I've had some experience with it, not
Mhm.
too much, but limited. But I do think it is very helpful, and I do think a lot of people would benefit from it. But how
Right.
would you, explain to people that this is, actual, real, science, real
Yep.
help for people?
Right. It's a great question because I get that a lot, and I have to choose my audience, I guess. If they're too much on the other side of like people who are very, very hardcore religious, they'll flat out ask me like, "Are you the devil? Do you believe in Jesus? Like, are you a witch?" And I'm like, "No." I guess if you want to call me that, but what I do is help people. So if that's a witch, then yes. But so I get that a lot. I get a lot of judgment, and I just see it through the lens of that's how they were conditioned to believe that anything outside of the church is wrong. And I'm like, I just let it be. And I just try to calm their mind and say, you know what? No, I'm not. Yes, I believe in Jesus. Like, yes, I believe in a higher power. No, I don't believe that it's a man sitting there, like shooting lightning bolts down to people and like he has white hair. I'm like, no, I do believe in a higher power and I do believe it's energy. And a lot of times I'm like, I think it's female because it's like creation is the female part of, the divine feminine is creation and creativity. But anyway, that doesn't matter. But yes, I do believe in a higher power. And so I don't try to convince those people. I just,
Right.
okay. And I'm like, no harm done. I'm like, I don't want to argue with you. If your beliefs are your beliefs, I'm not going to challenge you. And I just let it. Those people I put into one box and I don't worry about them. The second person is like, they were kind of conditioned to believe that this isn't true. And like you go to the doctor and you don't do like, what is energy? What is chakra? Like whatever, but I'm kind of interested and I've heard about it. And so they have a little bit of curiosity. Then I'll touch on the basic stuff, just like I said, the chakra system and
Right.
what it does it represent. And if do you feel like you're lacking in this life and this part of your life, this is how you can energize it energetically. Like if you don't feel safe within your body and you don't feel connected and you're in survival mode, like go outside. Seriously, like the hippies, but there's science behind it now, which is beautiful. Sit by a tree, connect with the tree, put your feet in the grass. It's called grounding. And they have instruments that you put in the ground and you put on yourself. And once you take your rubber shoes off and you put your feet in the grass, it shows how your energy goes up. And it's called the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance is the heartbeat of Earth. And it's 7.83, I can't ever remember, 7.82 or 7.83 hertz. And we're clinically depressed if we are in the city, like a cement jungle, like New York, if you're not out in the elements and you don't get the sun and you don't get the trees and the fresh air, if you're constantly inside in buildings, people get clinically depressed. And so they recommend, like in Japan, the doctor will literally write you a prescription to do forest bathing. Forest bathing, go out in the forest, go in the trees, like get in the elements, smell the air, The trees release stuff. I can't remember the names. It's like stuff out of the leaves that help your immune system. The sun gives you downgrades from like, it helps. Like we were taught to put sunscreen, don't ever go in the sun. And it's like, no, we actually need the sun at least 15 minutes, I think, to 30 minutes a day, just sitting with nothing on, like no sunscreen or anything, just sitting there. So people are starting to do that in the morning now to get your vitamin D. So like, start with that. And then they're like, yeah, you're right. Like when I go outside and I take a walk, I feel so much better. And then they start, you can see like the synapses in their brain make the connection. And they're like, oh, okay, that's my root chakra. And then that'll energize my root chakra and I'll feel better. And then the Schumann resonance, like we need that as humans to feel safe and well-being and peaceful. Oh, it all kind of makes sense. And it's not woo-woo anymore. It's like science-based, and they've actually done it. And they're like, oh, I do feel better. And then they get more curious about. So I just started like the basic stuff where I meet them where they're at. I'm not going to talk about crazy stuff that some people I can talk to about that. People who are just beginning this journey and they just piqued their curiosity and they're like, I heard about Reiki and I heard about chakras and sound healing. What is it? Then I'll touch on the basic stuff that they can relate with within their life. And then it builds after that. So yeah, that's what I do.
That's incredible. I think that is the best approach. I think because I think we're in a more tolerable society. More people are able to accept certain things, but there's always this section of people, whether it's your line of work, my line of work, or whatever. They don't think there's a real job or whatever. And I think we're just in a different society now. And I want to ask you, as we're talking about that, you coming from corporate to now, as the Graceful Healer, doing what you do now, for some people along the journey, like you said, there's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of failures along the way that comes with the success. I know the answer. You might know the answer, but we all ask ourselves, is it worth it? To you, was it worth it for you to go through all of that to become who you are today?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you why. Yeah, it was hard. There was a lot of hardships. There was a lot of crying. There was a lot of like, why is this happening to me? And it doesn't feel good when you're in the middle of it. It's like you're in like a tornado. The eye of the storm is calm, but the outer part, you're in that, and there's stuff flying by and you're getting hit and you're just like, oh, I can't breathe. It doesn't feel good. But now where I'm on the outside, I have evolved so much as a person, because if you think about it, if you go through life with no hardship, how are you ever going to learn? You learn within the hardest times in your life, and you come out the other side. Either you can go two paths. You can go in one path going, I'm a victim and this, like, I hate everybody now and everybody's an a-hole, and like you're in this victim mentality. Or you can go on the other side and see the beauty of it. The hardest times in my life were the most beautiful, because I grew as a person as a result of those hardships. Everybody has a story. If you were to just pick out a random person on the street, you're like, whoa, you look a certain way, but you had one of the hardest journeys I've ever heard. We're not here to we're in here, of course, to enjoy life, but we're here to go through hardships and figure out who we actually are. And some of the stuff I've been through, it made me realize who I am inside, like the strength that I actually had, the beautiful soul that I am, because I've been through a lot and a lot of trauma, but it didn't touch my soul, because my soul is very much, I feel like I'm more aligned with my soul at this point than I was 10 years ago. And I needed to go all through those hardships to figure out who I actually was, and to see my strength, and to see the gifts that I'm here to share with humanity and become the best version of myself. It had to come from those hardships. So I see it as beautiful, and I wouldn't be the person I am today without those hardships. But I'm not going to deny it sucked. It was hard.
Yeah.
there was times where like this, okay, Lord, please take me because I don't want to be here anymore. And, but I'm sure glad I'm here, especially
Yeah.
during this time and space with all this change. Like humanity is leaning towards, we're destroying the old archetypes. Like think of like Jenga is being knocked
Yeah.
down to be built up even better. And so we're, even though it's hard right now, we don't know what's next, like it's going to be knocked down and we are going to be the ones to build it up. And it's like for the future generations, like, wow, like we really are lucky to be here in this time and space, even though it's hard. So
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Growing up in this era has been one of the most rewarding things. Unfortunately, we keep hitting snag nails every year. There's always something going on,
I know.
but it's amazing to see how much we have at our fingertips. I talked to a couple older people at the gym. I used to work at a senior citizen facility, and they would tell me all the time, like, I be grateful for everything because they're learning smartphones. They're learning how to use a smartphone for the first time. They're learning about Wi-Fi. They're learning about social media.
Yeah.
These are things that they didn't have. We
Yeah.
have so much access to so many things, whether it's technology, mental health, therapy, uh, so many things. And I think oftentimes it's hard through the rigors of life, like you said, the ups and downs, the challenges, sometimes just sit back and think about the meaningful things, and sometimes unfortunately not everybody can get through the hard the failures to get to the success. So for you, let me ask you, I usually ask this at the end, but I think it's a good thing for me to ask you now because there are going to be people who can relate to you. They left the corporate world, they're doing their own thing. Mothers who left the workforce, maybe struggling to find the next thing to do in their life, or maybe they went down the entrepreneurship angle that you did. How did you get through those funky moments in your life?
Um, I didn't know it at the time, but I guess it was faith. Now I know it's faith and surrender. And I hit point, I mean, I'm still going through stuff right now. It's never ending, but I feel like I'm more equipped. But it's surrendering to, I don't have any control right now over what's happening because I try to swim upstream and change things and do this and that, but nothing's working out. And I don't know why. That's when you have to sit back and quiet yourself and like, okay, I surrender. Like, better, higher self and divine and spirit guides. Like, I'm just going to sit back and quiet and go within and work on myself. And then that's when the answers will come. And that's when the new job opportunity will come. That's when the new person comes into your life, is when you just like let go of control and surrender to the moment. So I didn't know I was doing that back then. I was just so caught up in like, what's happening? And I'm trying to control stuff. But then once I think about it, once I just sat back, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I give up. And then stuff will happen after that.
Yeah.
So it's hard because as humans, we want to control the future because it gives us certainty that we know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. It's false. We don't have control over anything because once you think you have control over a situation, something else will happen. That's when you just have to give in and be like, okay, all right, whatever is meant for my highest and best will come to me. And right at the last second, it's always like that for me. It's like right when I'm stressing and I'm like, when is something going to open up for me? Once I surrender, then it comes in like at the last millisecond. I'm like, why do you have to do that to me? It's so stressful. But now I'm learning to like just let go of the control earlier and just be like, okay, I know I'm always taken care of. You always are. It always works out last second.
Yeah.
So you need to just have faith that it is going to work out, even if it's not how you envisioned it. Because your higher self, your higher self, your soul, piece of your soul is still up there. Think of like a mountaintop and a cliff. And we are down below in the ravine where all the trees are really tall. We can't see north, south, east, west. We can barely see 5 feet in front of us. We can't really see what's behind us. We're trying to figure out the next path, but we can't really see. Your higher self is on the cliff trying to yell to you, go west. And you're like, oh, I just heard the wind go by. I don't know. I didn't hear that, whatever. And then you'll see a sign that says, go west. And you're like, that's weird. I kind of hear that in my ear, but then I'm going to ignore that too. I don't know who put that sign there. And then you ignore it. And then you see something in the water and you're like, it looks like mountains, which are west. Oh, I'm going to ignore that. I don't, that's just my figment of my imagination. That's your soul giving you breadcrumbs to go west. And you're just like, oh, I don't know. That's just a coincidence. And I'm seeing stuff in my mind. No, it's your higher self giving you clues. And so your higher self can see the path and the clear path. You can't see anything because you're just like in the thick of it. So that's where you have to quiet your mind and listen to those whispers and connect with nature again. Because once you connect with nature, get outside, put your feet in the grass, get the Schumann resonance, hear the birds chirping, get all the energy from the trees and the flowers and stuff like that. That's when you clear your mind and silence can come in for those messages. Yeah. So when you're in the middle of it and you don't know what to do next, seriously, go be a hippie, but it's science backed now. It's not just the hippie hugging the tree. It's not the chakra guy. And you're like, what the hell? Like there's science behind it. Go outside, clear your mind. They actually have things where I forget what they named it, but it's like, go be bored. Put your phone down. Don't put music on. Go outside and go for a walk with nothing. Go be bored. And that, I'm serious, that's when ideas come in. That's when you're like, oh, I know what to do next. Oh my gosh. Oh, I need to call this person. And then all of a sudden they're like, I was just thinking of you and I have this opportunity for you. You're like, oh my God, go be bored and go outside. And that's when stuff will that's when the answers will come. And Absolutely. It sounds too simple. And it sounds like anxiety because you're like, I don't want to be bored. I want to scroll on Instagram. I want to go on TikTok. I want to listen to music. I do it. And I listen to podcasts. But I know it's a mechanism for me to numb because then my mind, I don't want my thoughts to come in. And I'm like, you need those thoughts to come in. Be bored and let the thoughts come up. Let them get tired and run out. And then that's when the answers will come.
You know what? The whole nature thing, I 100% agree with it. It took me, I'm still learning it, about not so much appreciating it, but, actually taking advantage of it. But I remember being in high school, Central Park was my spot in New York. I love going there after school. I do that all the time. And then going to LA, I'm living in LA, going to Malibu, Dune Point. Lately been traveling, going to, different places, checking out mountains and forests and national parks.
Oh, it's so awesome.
I think until you experience it, I don't think some people will understand. Just standing on top of a mountain, just overlooking the mountain range, just seeing nothing but blue sky and green and all these different shapes. And it's truly one of the most incredible things you can do for yourself. Because like you said, humans, I think over time, to a certain degree, we've lost that, especially with technology. I think we lost that individual sense of being outside. And, we talked about, I just had somebody on a podcast not too long ago. We were talking about this, where I remember, growing up, used to be outside, playing on the asphalt, playing in the grass, doing all types of things. You don't really see this anymore. Like you drive through most parks, it's empty. Everybody's at home playing video games.
Yeah.
It's, I 100% agree with you. I think more people need to go outside and even if it's just for 5 minutes.
Even for 5 minutes. It doesn't need to be walks for hours. Just go outside, get some sun on your face, breathe the air, connect with the earth, and it could be for 5 minutes. And it seriously resets you. You're like, oh, okay, I feel so much better now. I can get on with my day or do that task that I've been procrastinating at. It's just, and then oh my gosh, the parks and the national parks and the forests and the trees, it's just that's why we're here. That's why we incarnated into a body, is to experience this stuff and like see it and touch it and feel it. Because when you're a spirit, you're just energy and you can't see it and touch it and feel it. Like we're here with this body for a reason. And it's just like, go and touch the tree, put your feet in the grass, like look at the flower and how intricate it is. And just like, it's just like everything's so beautiful when you like really look at it. You're like, oh my gosh. And we are all connected. Like we are the flower, we're the tree, we're the piece of grass, we're all energy and we're all the same. And so once you look at it that way, you're like, you don't want to pick the flower because you're like, it'll die. I want to leave it like with its roots in the ground, and then everybody can enjoy it. Then you're like, then you think twice about destroying stuff. And you're like, this is so, and it's such, I know for the younger generation, you're like, oh my God, it's so hippie.
Yeah.
But if you think of it that way and you actually look at the beauty and how it's even helping you on a somatic level and helping you through your life, you just respect it more. And you're like, then you look forward to the walk. And then you're like, I'm going to see what else I can see that's so beautiful. And I've like never stopped to actually smell. I'll literally stop and smell the roses. Like these roses are here for us to smell, and they're smell so good. I'm like, oh my God. It's just like, just enjoying stuff like that. It makes you enjoy other stuff more deeply because you're like, even the little stuff, you're like, wow. Or even like a first bite of food and you're like, oh my God, that was so good. Like just enjoying that in your mouth and like the sensations it does. And you're just like the sweetness it's bringing, like, I don't know. It just makes you enjoy stuff even more instead of like, I'm just going to eat it and mindlessly look at Instagram. And then before you know it, you ate the whole bag of chips and you didn't even enjoy it. You're just like numbing yourself. No,
Right.
like sit and enjoy everything. And it amplifies life.
Yeah.
You just get out of that numbing and doing and being and sensing and tasting. And that's what we're here for. So
Yes. Amplifying life and everything is cool and all, but you know what's more important than that? The hot seat, because it's your turn now. You thought you was getting off the hook. No,
oh, I need some coconut
it's
water.
coming for you. Chakra and all out the door right now. This is
Okay.
all the hot seat. Now the
I'm
hot seat. This is, I explained to you a little bit what this is, but the hot seat is essentially, I'll put you to the test. So you have to choose between two of some of the most iconic musicians, actors, whatever the case may be, has graced our eyeballs. And now it's your turn to be put in the hot seat. So, I'm gonna give you two names. You don't have to elaborate. You could give a quick, summary of why you chose one over the other. But this is your time to shine, right? So are you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. I know you say you like the Beastie Boys. So let's do this. The Beastie Boy or the Backstreet Boys?
Oh, Beasties. Beastie Boys, hands down.
I
don't like the
you'll have
Backstreet.
that.
That wasn't my generation.
It wasn't mine either. So I'm not arguing with you one bit on that one. Okay. Guns N' Roses or Aerosmith?
Guns N' Roses.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
AC/DC or Metallica?
AC/DC.
Journey or the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Journey. I'm not a fan of the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
You know what? That was a wrong choice. How about this? Journey or Queen?
Oh, probably Journey. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No opinion in this one.
I know, right?
It's the flag down.
Everybody's gonna have like a different answer. Yeah.
Motorhead or Fleetwood Mac?
Oh, Fleetwood Mac. I want to see them live so bad. I grew up most of my life, not like most of my childhood in California. And so my dad used to take us camping every year to Big Bear. And he used to put in the tape cassette of Fleetwood Mac. And so every time I hear Fleetwood Mac, it takes me back to that time and space of childhood going camping, which was happy time in my childhood. And so every time, like I never get sick of their music. And then now there's like remixes and DJs will put it in. And like, I love Fleetwood Mac. So hands down.
I never listened to Fleetwood Mac. I do know of him
Really?
because,
Yeah.
nah, yeah, my buddy's father, he's in the 60s, grew up born in the 60s, so this is all his.
Yeah.
He loved them. I know they just went to a concert for was it Bon Jovi? I think it was. I can't remember who it was. Some 80s band, but
Yeah.
that's how I know all of these names because of
Okay.
him. But let's stop the rules because we're going to continue here. I see what you're
Okay.
doing. All right, so let's do Rush or Bon Jovi.
I forget what songs Rush plays, but I would probably say Rush. I'm not a huge Bon Jovi fan. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's fair.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll go with Rush.
The Rolling Stones or Kiss.
See, that's before my era. Maybe the Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones.
Yeah, because I'm thinking Kiss. Like, I think I like some of their songs, but they're more hardcore rock, aren't they?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So how about Coldplay or the Beastie Boys?
Oh, why are you doing this to me? Oh, I love Coldplay and I love Beastie Boys. It depends what mood I'm in. Because Beastie Boys, I'm like, yeah, license to ill. And then Coldplay is like when you're like evening, glass of wine, sitting and watching the sunset. I would say Beastie Boys. Because it always puts me in like that mood of like, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair. Although I'll admit I'm biased. Coldplay, they got me through some crazy times of high school. So
totally. It's a
you know
different energy.
I get what you mean though. It's different. Coldplay is one of those like it makes you when you're sitting around. Maybe you just want to chill a little bit.
Yeah.
You play them.
Or
They're
maybe
not
you're
really.
hard times and you feel like you need to get through something emotionally, and it's like, or like you sit and chill. It's in the Beastie Boys like gets me dancing and singing and want to like go party, and so it always like makes me happy. So even if I'm in a bad mood, I'm like, oh, Beastie Boys. I'm like,
Yeah,
uh, yeah.
yeah.
Huh.
It's definitely
That's
different.
hard.
Yeah, they're different. But all right, I got two more for you.
Okay,
Lincoln Park or the Black Keys.
Black Keys.
Arctic Monkey or the Killers.
Oh, that's hard. Uh, Probably the Killers because they're more of like dancing music. So I'd say
Okay,
the Killers. Yeah.
and the last one I'll do. Imagine Dragons or Mumford and Sons.
Me, Mumford and Sons. I
That's a good
love
choice.
Mumford and Sons. Yeah.
I like both of them. I like both of them, but I don't go out of my way to listen to them, but I do have a couple songs from both.
Yeah.
Uh they yeah, it's yeah, they're a nice group, but Coldplay by far my favorite
I
band.
know. That was
By far.
hard. That was unfair. I want to redo.
That's what the hot seat is. That's what the
Shoot.
hot seat is.
I like
Next
both of them for different reasons. Shoot.
nah, yeah, Coldplay. I'm biased. I'll pick them all the time. Just they have a couple of different. I have maybe like 10 on my playlist that I actually listen to on not every day, but I listen to them on a recurrent basis. But like every teardrop is a waterfall. I listened to that a lot in high school.
Yeah.
Sky Full of Stars. Um, I got a couple other ones. I'm forgetting the name of them. But yeah, Coldplay, the GOAT, the GOAT.
I know.
Better than the Beastie Boys. I'll tell you that.
No.
Don't shoot the
No.
messenger.
Oh man, Beastie Boys. Cute. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
it's all
maybe I'll
right.
give that to you. I mean,
Eh,
they're yeah. And I've seen them in concert. I've seen Coldplay in concert as well. And it's just like, it's magical. Like he sounds just like he does on the radio and like just has that energy and he enjoys himself and he hits your emotional field. And it's just, he's just so lovely. So yeah, I mean, I'll give you that.
We'll call it a time. Let's do that. We'll
Okay.
make it fun. We'll call it a time. It's all. Let's keep positive vibes here.
Totally. Positive
You know?
vibes and keep the good energy flowing.
Yeah, and it's we've had a great conversation. You opened my eyes on a lot of things I didn't know about chakra and everything because for
Yeah.
me I'm I'm open minded. I'm not stuck in my ways like the older generation is. But
Right.
this is stuff like you said. Some people might say, "Oh, it's hippie stuff." I would have dismissed it. But I've been trying to learn other things, learn new people,
Right.
and learn
Good.
new things. And I think this is what our society is missing. I think that we need people to understand one another more, learn
We
other
do.
things, and learn new things because I feel like COVID should have taught people about being able to be open to different things, and to the degree we are, I think we could use a little bit of work. But needless to say, all of that, I do think we're in a good space now where yeah, people might say you're a witch or whatever the case may be, but for the most part, more people are supporting you than denying you. And I think 10 years ago, that probably would have been the opposite case where
Yes.
people was a little more closed minded on this type of thing. So,
Agreed.
this has been interesting interview. I like this. This is different than what I usually do. And
Good.
you've been able
I'm
to,
so glad that you learned something because that's what I want people just to learn and
yeah,
about this whole different world that is open to them, but they're just not aware. Just want to make people aware, whether you believe it or not, just planting the seed of like all this stuff you can tap into is here if you want to. And it's your
yeah,
choice. You have free will. So I'm so glad to hear that you're like, it opened my eyes and like chakra system and human residence and going outside and like you will feel better and it'll make you appreciate more being outside. You're like, oh my God, because like you'll feel it more the next time because you're aware. You're like, oh,
right.
it does make me feel like 1,000% better. It'll make you want to do it. So
Yeah.
so happy.
Absolutely. Like you said, when you have great teachers, you become a good teacher. And I think that is the key. I think because the way you broke it down, I think, some people they like to be very dismissive if they meet somebody who's a skeptic. Screw them. They can F off or whatever. But
Mhm.
you, instead of doing that, you went to the approach of educating,
Yeah,
opposed to being dismissive and,
right.
being rude about it, which, to a certain degree, I do think, especially with social media, people do get nasty. So
They do.
I can't be mad at that. But,
Right.
as we close though, let me ask you, like I said, you've been doing good work with this, and I'm glad to have you on, and I hope you get to show more and more people what you're doing. How do you think social media helps you a lot in not only just spreading your brand, the graceful healer, but also educating people on what you do?
Yes, and I do because on my channel, my Instagram channel, the Graceful_Healer, I try to put out content that teaches. I do fun stuff like card readings, like the energy for today, and I'll pull oracle cards or tarot cards. But I also try to educate on this is what this does, like the Schumann resonance, and then this is what it does to you, and putting out content that will help people learn and grow and evolve as people and your soul and as humans. But yeah, there's some really good content out there that teaches, but you do have to be discerning and filter out like some of the gunk, because I'll see some of these people and they're all for the likes, and
Mhm.
they'll say stuff that's like triggering or not even true, and they'll feed on people's fears, and I'm like, God, that's so yucky. And then like you see all these people commenting and all these followers, and they do it on purpose for
Yeah,
follows and likes. And so you have to be discerning on who you follow and the knowledge that you put in, knowing that social media is a platform for anybody and they could not be educated on what they're doing and then just be saying stuff and you're believing it. So it's just if it doesn't resonate within you and you're like, that kind of sounds weird, then, take it with a grain of salt, some people. And then if other people are like, okay, I resonate with that, and it seems like they're not playing on my fear and they're not triggering me, and it's actually like, it's coming from a genuine place, go with your intuition. And so I feel like, yes, social media has helped spread the word of what I do and energy healing, and how it's like this new phase of how to heal yourself. It's always been there. It's ancient knowledge. It's just now coming back from being buried and dormant, is coming back to the surface. And social media has helped. And so you just have to be discerning. That's all.
Oh, absolutely. I love social media. There's always pros and cons to it, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's all about the people you affect in a positive way. Because there's always going to be somebody who don't like you, who
Yep.
who don't care what you do, will talk down on your profession. I get it all the time. Oh, acting is not a real job, whatever. But you know what? As long as you have the self confidence, like you talked about,
Yes.
you have your self belief, you keep your energy, and you keep your mind in check. All of that stuff it's just noise. It's just it's not what we're aiming for. We're aiming to reach the people who want to know, who want to learn, who want to be a part of our journey, our story. And I think what you're doing. I think having someone like you on, I definitely think it helps not only me but other people learn. And I
Yeah.
think this is proof that don't be open-minded to don't be closed-minded, rather don't be closed-minded to things, because you never know what you're going to learn. And I always look to every day learn something new, and you told me something new. And I'm definitely going to walk away from this not thinking about the chakra dude or the girl with the armpit.
I love that story. We all know a chakra dude. You're a little weird. And that's what people go to with like the work that I do. They go to chakra dude and they think that's who I am. And I'm like, no, I'm actually a real person. And I do like to go out and have a beer and like go to live music and do normal stuff. Like, you don't have to be weird to be in this field or do this stuff. You can still be your normal self and have fun.
and,
Yeah.
and that's all that matters. That's all
Yeah.
that matters. And as we wrap this up, let me ask you, what do you have planned? What do you have in store? What's going on going forward? Because you was on the Howard Stern show, and no disrespect to him, but once you hit the Prince of Rashid style, I mean, I don't think there's a mountain you can climb.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, I don't know if it's just this area, like this LA area, but it's opened up so many other pathways and doors for me, which I never even like. That's where you have to surrender to spirit and your higher self, because I never thought of myself as an actor or getting into doing anything in the acting area, but I'm being pulled into that. And I'm like, I'm not an actor, I'm an energy healer, but I'm part of this show called Loving Your Life. And my friend Amy, who I actually met doing energy work on her because she has stage 4 cancer. And so I did some energy work on her, and her numbers started to go down. For me, that's like, duh. But for her, she's like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, everything's energy. And so she invited me to be on her show. And so it's kind of like a documentary series slash TV series. It's on YouTube right now called Loving Your Life. So I play her best friend. And then we're working on a movie. We just had a table read yesterday for a rom-com, and I'm playing her best friend again in the rom-com. And so I did my first table read, and I'm like, I'm not an actress, but you know what? It's fun, and I'm just going to go with it, even if it could lead somewhere and it could lead nowhere, but it doesn't matter. I'm on the path that I'm following that brings me joy. And so I'm like, it's doing something for me. It's building some part of me that I'm going to need in the future, even if I'm not going to become a full-time actress, which I really don't want to be. I'm an energy healer, but it's preparing me for something that I just don't know yet. But I'm sure having fun doing it, because we're all friends and we're doing this table read and just having the best time yesterday, just laughing and creating these characters. And I'm like, this is so fun. So yeah, we're working on this rom-com, which we'll start filming probably in November, and then it'll come out next December. And then I have some other projects that I'm working on that I can't talk about right now, but they're also film related and TV related. And I'm like, huh? I never even thought of what? That's where you have to surrender. You're like, okay, I don't know best. You know best. And this is like a lot of fun. And so we'll see what happens with the stuff that I'm working on. Yeah, I'll catch you up next time I talk to you.
Absolutely. Welcome to show business, where
Right?
it's the most unpredictable thing.
Unpredictable. And you're like,
You
what?
know,
I never
I'm gonna
even
need a
dreamed.
I'm gonna need a booking session because I gotta figure out where all these roles coming from for you. You know, where's mine? No, okay.
Right. Maybe you need some chakra clearing. Seriously, it could be stagnated chakras, and you just need it cleared out to have fresh energy to be like, and then you attract stuff that's more aligned with you energetically. So you could have blockages.
You could be right on that. I just know if you don't want the role, just, you know where to find me. All right,
Yeah, I
don't.
know where to find you now.
Yeah, I could put on a blonde wig. No biggie. But Shannon, like I said, thank you for coming on. This was a chat that it's always nice when you do interviews and you don't know what to expect. And I'm at the point where I love these type of interviews because it shows people and it gives people a platform and a place to listen to these type of stories, because a lot of platforms, they don't want to interview us unless it's specific to who they like or whatever. They don't want to do it. And for me,
Right.
I wanted to go back to when I started this podcast. I wanted to interview everyone and anyone, and I didn't want to get stuck in the whole show business part of it. I wanted to get back to the core, and I think you helped me do that. But any final words to your fans, your supporters, even new people following you for the first time, discovering you for the first time? Any final words that you want to leave with?
I do. So as we were talking about before on social media, when people leave negative comments and a lot of people hide behind their computers or even their cars and road rage, and they're like a big bully. But then once they come to you face to face, they have nothing to say.
Right.
Just know, like, being your authentic self, even if you have pushback by people, and people will say really mean stuff, they're coming from a place of their own hurt and their own trauma. So it's called samskara in ancient Sanskrit. And what it is mental impressions, recollections, or psychological imprints that shape thoughts and actions. And blah, 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 I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's like where they're coming from is their own lens on life with their own trauma, their own conditioning, their own projections. So when they project onto you, why are you doing that? That's not a real job, blah, 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 because they believe in themselves that they couldn't do what you're doing. So it's coming from their space of their own fears, their own conditioning that their parents told them, their own belief system. And so when they say mean stuff to you online, they're coming from that place of hurt. So it has nothing to do with you. You just triggered that shadow part of them, and they voiced it saying, you can't do that, because you're shining a light on their trigger point of they don't feel good enough. They don't feel lovable. They don't feel seen and heard in their own life. So they want to project it onto you. So just remember that in social media, all the negative comments has nothing to do with you. Your light just triggered their shadow. That's all. And that's how you're like, oh, okay, wow, you need work. And I just like put a flashlight onto your shadow part of you that needs work. And that's all you did. And so actually shining your light and being authentic, if it triggers them, that's a gift to them to realize, oh, I need to work on that part of myself. And if they don't, that's on them and not on you. But you're giving them that gift by triggering them so they can work on that part. So don't take everything personal. It has nothing to do with you. Your light triggered them, but that they need to work on their stuff, and don't dim your light just to please everybody else, because they're going to talk about you no matter what. If you're doing it right, if you're doing it wrong, they're still going to talk about you. So just being your authentic self and owning that, and knowing people will just project onto you their own stuff, and be proud of yourself and shine your light. And it'll just be them work on themselves. So I'll leave you with that.
Yeah, on your way home from work, you're going to work. You might be cracking the beer open like stone cold. You might be playing
Yeah.
video games with buddies. But whatever you're doing, for me and Shannon, thank you for tuning into another episode. This has been a tremendous episode for not only for me, but hopefully guys, you too as well. And like I said, this is just a start to an amazing chapter of the Prince of Fresh Air, and I can't do it without guests like Shannon, the
Oh,
graceful healer. So,
thank you.
I'm gonna shut up now before everybody, hits the end button to go back to another YouTube channel. So
Right.
we'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you so much.